Many leaders think of their work in terms of a metaphor. One of my clients sees herself as the conductor of an orchestra, another as running a well-oiled machine. One talks about a tight ship, another about a game of chess, and there are many others. But there is one in particular that I find not only cuts to the core of what an organisation really is, but also helps guide the actions that a leader needs to take and frame the scope of their responsibilities. But before we get stuck in, take a second to click the subscribe button to ensure you get my next video on Leadership Inside Out. Okay, so what is this mysterious organisational metaphor which, by the way, works for teams just as well? It's the garden, with the leader as the gardener. Oh, that doesn't sound very inspiring, does it? Well, bear with me as I open it up because it reveals some very profound truths concerning what leadership is all about. First off, gardens grow and they do it without any help. If you leave a garden for a whole year and come back to it, you'll find that everything will have grown in your absence. There may well be a few casualties that have not made it, but in general, you'll find the old plants will have got bigger and some new plants, probably weeds, will have appeared too. Chances are it will not look in great shape. Weeds everywhere and overgrown plants and shrubs which have probably taken up too much space and are beginning to interfere with each other. If you have a lawn, that will be in a real state after a year of neglect. Then we have the aspect of cycles, particularly seasons. Gardens don't grow in a linear way. Growth is a factor of weather, climate, and season, which are all changeable or cyclical. Some plants look quite dead in the winter, only to grow back vigorously in the spring. You can't always tell what is going on behind the scenes or below the surface. Similarly, no matter how fast a plant grows, if you stand and watch it, you won't see it change. You'll have to leave it and come back after a few days to see any growth at all. And if you dig up a seed to check if it's germinated, you'll kill it in the process. But here's the real crux of this metaphor. The gardener doesn't grow anything at all. The plants do that on their own. The plants have that intelligence built into them. The gardener is completely clueless when it comes to how plants do what they do, how they grow new cells, exactly how they photosynthesize light, and how they propagate and reproduce themselves. The gardener's expertise is in what the plants do and how to help them do it. So how does this perspective translate into the business of leadership? What can a leader learn from a gardener? Well, perhaps the most important lesson is that of learning to nurture. Gardeners take responsibility for the environment, the soil, water, and the amount of sun and wind their plants are exposed to. Those are the four elements. The gardeners make sure each plant has enough space around it. That's the fifth element. And that it gets pruned at the right time or trained in the right way. The gardener will remove any unwanted plants, weeds, before they interfere with the plants they do want. Some plants will need regular attention, others virtually none. Each species will require their own regimen of care for them to become the best they can be. A quick word about weeds. Weeds are not a species or a type of plant. They are not inferior in any way. A weed is simply a plant in an unwanted place. A rose in a cabbage patch, for example. There are plenty of examples in teams and organisations. One of the biggest lessons leaders can learn from great gardeners is the focus of attention. You'd be forgiven for believing that the sole focus of a gardener responsible for an apple orchard will be apples. More, bigger, tastier, better apples. But that could not be further from the truth. The real focus, as I've already suggested, is everything but the final result. It's the earth, light, wind and water. It's the everyday process of nurturing the trees, not the apples. Get this process right and everything else follows. The results will be the best they can be. But that doesn't guarantee a great harvest because the result of all that love and care is also subject to the trees themselves and, of course, climate and weather. Not everything is under your control, but what is, you pay all your attention to. This is to prioritise process over output, a prime directive of leadership. I hope you can see by now where this is all going, and that by doing what a good gardener does, a leader can get the best from their people, possibly more than anyone expected. They do it through cultivating the environment, leaving each plant to do what they do best and know better than anyone. General Patton, the World War II four-star general, said, "Never tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do and they will surprise you with their ingenuity." And much more recently, General Stan McChrystal, a big fan of the gardener metaphor for leadership, said, "Gardeners grow nothing. Plants do that." So to summarise, the lessons we can draw from this are: 1. Allow your people the space and time to discover their own way of doing things. 2. Cultivate the environment in which they work as your priority. And 3. Focus on the process, not the outcome. When you do this, the organisation will emulate a garden, somewhere people want to be because it feels good. It lifts the spirit and encourages you to be more of who you really are. If you like this video, click the thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.